10:30. I'm at Dave's yard. I'm gonna go live. I'll be mowing. I got my mic on. I got my Bluetooth mic on. So you guys should be able to see and hear the mower running. So let's get it. Let's go. I push mow this whole entire yard, and if I'm not talking that much, that's because I'm concentrating. I get it done in sections, like this left. Well, this is the right side facing, and he's done a lot of work to try to get this grass to grow, but it's still patchy. And I'm gonna see if I can't help him fill in the patches. He might have to overseed. He might have to uh, just do a little bit more to the soil, because that's the main problem. This this soil up here in this part is compacted, and it's got water on it, but it's not allowing it to take. It's right in the top. So it might need some compost and some seed. And I might have to bring my lawn tractor, little white outdoors lawnmower, and aerate to get this soil broke up, because that's what's causing this. It's the real patch, but it is growing because I was just here 2 weeks ago. All right, y'all. That right side facing it is done. Now I'm gonna hit on this front side. Last time I went one way. This time I'm gonna go. I guess north to south on it. Then later on, I gotta first. So y'all just stay tuned. Get this camera set, and then go get the mower, and we'll be back to work. He put a little seed around that front. of that tree. There was bear there, so he knows what to do to get the plants to grow because that's growing. He's from like South Carolina. He know what he's doing, but he's not. He don't want to do all this. So I told him I got him. I can cut it. I enjoy cutting this yard. I know y'all miss me, so I'm gonna bring y'all closer. Oh, we had one person join in. Hello, whoever you are. I'm mowing grass, so I can't answer any comments or anything. But this is Dave's yard. I'm trying to give y'all the full scope of what I do when I'm here. And I'm gonna set this camera down here, and I got the digital camera up on top so you can see me going and coming. This is how I do what I do. It ain't for everybody, but this is how I do what I do, and it works for me. So, like I said, after I get everything mowed, then I'm gonna come through with the weed eater and clean up everything because some of this grass is sticking up, and the mower misses some. But here I come towards y'all. Oh, my digital camera fell over. Welcome back to society, people. I'm gonna have to get this right here. All right, this is the left side on the little slope cutting. I got my live video on my phone down there, so if y'all see that, that's what that is. All right, here we go. My digital camera fell over. I got it out of the wind now. But this is what it takes to create content and make it valuable. I mean, I know people know how to mow grass, but I just show everything that's involved that I can. You're gonna have things happen, like your camera gonna fall and all that. So I really enjoy what I do, and This man that I'm doing this for, he is a minister. So I think the worst here on this yard I'm looking at, and that's because he can't get nothing to hold right there. I mean, it comes in a little, but it doesn't hold, and that's what they look at. So I'm going to talk to him to see if he'll give me a shot at growing some grass right there. These hills is always hard, but I usually just come back with the weed eater and knock down everything I miss. Alright, now I'm gonna do directly behind the house. And then we'll work our way up to the hill. I think I'm gonna take a break up on the hill before I go up on the hill. Alright, y'all. We still mowing. I'm gonna hit this backyard. Got that up there done. Got the other side done. Alright, y'all. Going for this back section, man. The funny thing is, this Toro TV, I mean not Toro, Troy-Biff TV 230, it's very, very fuel efficient. Because I had a half a tank of fuel in here and I'm still cutting. And I've cut 2/3 of this yard. I may not even have to put any fuel in until it's done. Uh-oh. Because that wind is getting it. We still live, y'all. I dropped it down low so that the wind doesn't blow it down. Last week after I mowed this yard, it took me a day or so to get myself together, but I'm getting better as far as my stamina. because this takes a lot, y'all. But I agree with Mr. Dave. It looks a lot better when you push more. And he takes pride in his yard, and I don't blame him. And I want to help him make his yard the best that it can be. And like I said, I'm going to ask him if I can come and do some spots and grow some grass. Because it's a nice yard. And I'm sure they enjoy their coffee in the morning after I mow. I'm sure they enjoy looking out those back windows and seeing that the grass is cut. When I get done with this little section, I'm going to shut everything off, and then I'll come back with the hill and the top of that backyard. I had a little incident coming in here because I can come, a back way to come is off a little wilderness battlefield road. I got there this morning and they had three. Well, I left out and then I looked at my Waze app and my Waze app said that's the best way to go. So I turned around and came back a second time. I was supposed to be here at 10 o'clock. I got here at 10:30 because of that delay in the traffic. Looks like whatever True Green or Virginia Green did kill some crabgrass, which is a good thing. Got this little section to do, y'all, then I'm going to take a break. All right, I still got one person on the line. So what I'm gonna do is take y'all around. This is the lower back section. I still have to do this up here, but I'm gonna walk y'all around the yard as it stands right now. Here's the left side facing his house. Nice little slope, but we knocked it out with the push mower. And then here's the front. If y'all are wondering why I didn't mess with some of that in there, it's because he got new seed in here. I cut around it because we want to give that the best chance to grow and catch up. I'll take the weed eater, set it in there, and get some of that other stuff, make it look a little even. But that's what you do. You don't come and butcher something that the man has done for himself. So that's what that is. I still got to come and do these ditches with the weed eater and all of that. But I'm going to end this live showing y'all the right front side. This is the best part of his yard right here. You can't hardly see it because of the shade of the house. But whatever grass mix he has, that was the best for this part of the yard. So I'm gonna end this live, and you guys just witness me doing what I do. You are inside the Curtis Minor Experience. Hope y'all have a blessed day, and thank you for those that watched.